The following may contain language that is not suitable for all audiences. Hey everybody, thanks for finding us. Matt and Dave here with the Low Fact Podcast.
Supple.
And I guess we're going to continue the conversation about the coronavirus. Yesterday we talked about a little bit about the political side of it. Today it's the fear side of it, because that's really what's going on, I believe, with how rampant.
Which we talked a little bit about.
Yeah,
a couple of episodes ago.
Yeah, well, it's all the reactions, the reactions of the people in the government, the reactions of everybody trying to throw each other bones, I guess, is really just kind of based on fear. And, fear is no joke. Fear is not something, I'm not belittling anybody for having fear, because
of course they won't believe you.
Well, okay, they don't have to, but it's true. I mean, the only people that have no fear are psychos.
Yeah. But I'm sure there's a scale. There's various scales, and there's probably people who are on the fear scale have minimal fear. For this thing.
Well, not talking about this thing in particular, but fear in general is a very weird emotion. Number one, fear is contagious.
Yeah.
Right? You don't believe me? Why don't you have somebody in a room and have someone sitting there scared that, someone's going to, the building's going to fall on top of it. Oh, in an elevator. Scared that the elevator is going to break and, you're going to come crashing down to the bottom, although that's almost a near impossibility.
Yeah.
With the way elevators are designed, but you know what I mean.
Somebody on an airplane, people get wigged out by the person they're like, can you do something about this person that keeps on...
Well, fear, like I said, fear is contagious, and there's no getting rid of fear, which is a funny thing. Look, there are people who have gone through or are in professions that kind of teach you how to operate with fear.
Okay.
Right? Soldiers.
Yeah, you're not getting rid of it, you just operate.
Police officers, soldiers, peace officers, firefighters, fishermen.
But if you're operating with fear, does that reduce the fear?
No, you're just not thinking about it. So it's still there.
Fear is still there.
It's still there.
So it's not like it's like background noise. It's not like it's...
Yeah.
The noise is not going away.
You're just kind of ignoring it. One of my favorite memes is the difference between the brave man and the I guess it was coward or not so brave, is basically the brave man looks in the face of death and says, fuck it. And that's essentially what you do. You're just, but what's also really, really strange about that?
What?
There are people that you would think have been through a whole lot of stuff, right? And you would think, well, why would he still be scared? And the thing I'm thinking of right now is Gus Grissom. If you don't know Gus Grissom's story, look it up.
There's lots of movies about him. You
don't even have to do that. But I had a friend talking about it, and we were talking about Gus Grissom's mission into space and back, and how, long story short, it's still unknown whether he panicked and popped the door of his space capsule, or if it malfunctioned and exploded. But his capsule sank. They couldn't get it. And, he lived under a dark cloud because they thought that he just kind of wigged out and popped it, because he wanted to get out of there.
Right.
And I had a friend that said there and said, I don't understand. He's a combat vet. And I'm like, that doesn't matter.
I remember you talking about this and saying it's not like it gets better over time.
Yeah. Every time you go out into a dangerous situation, you don't get less fearful. If anything, you get more fearful because you're like, well, I survived all these other times.
Yeah. That's why it must have been freaky being on those the bomber crews in World War II, the ones that were 20 missions, 30 missions.
Well,
and everyone's
24 is all your 24 is the tour. You do 24 bombing missions.
The closer you're getting to that, you're just oh,
because because if you get hit on bombing mission number 1, you're like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
But on bombing mission number 23, you're like, well, I hope 24 is a cakewalk.
Dude, I would imagine that once you start getting into the high teens, things start getting pretty
Exactly.
nerve-wracking.
That's exactly right. So, fear is one of those things. It don't get easier. It gets harder. And like I said, I don't look down or blame anybody who are fearful. I mean, there are people that are at higher risk, even though chances are, but those are essentially rationalizations. I mean, think about how many people get into cars and drive around. If
people do not give it a second thought when they're doing crazy shit behind the wheel.
Right, but if you were actually going to be logical about it, you would sit there and say probability of death due to coronavirus as opposed to probability or possibility of death due to doing stupid junk in a car. No comparison.
Much higher driving.
And yet, I see people reading text while driving 80 miles an hour, not giving it a second thought. And I'm not talking about young people either.
It's everybody, dude.
And yet, people being very scared about the coronavirus. I mean, it's really... I
am really astonished by the level of fear, though. Like, I am astonished that we're... in my own neighborhood where it was about half and half for a while, people wearing masks and people not, that it's just become everybody wearing the mask now.
Well, that's also...
that really, shocks me.
Well, not only is it required by law now in a lot of places, but it's also something that it's a way to kind of control the fear, right? I'm doing something. I personally think that all the stuff going on is really another bribe. It's another bone.
But I saw an old guy the other day walking. He literally looked like he was gonna frickin' keel over and die because he was not getting enough oxygen, and he was just clearly struggling in this mask in the heat outside. But yet he was wearing his mask.
Yeah, but you don't see how he's wearing it when you're not around.
You're right. I don't.
Because what I see, because I also do jogs in the morning, and when people can't see me and I can see them, either they don't have it on or they have it on underneath their nose so that they're fine.
Oh yeah,
right.
That's what.
And then the second they see me coming, they kind of cover up their nose. And I live in a place where you don't have to be masked up when you're outside, not around anybody.
That's how it should be.
Well. Yeah, but like I said, the whole point of all these mandates is you're justified in what you feel. Here's what you can do to take control of the situation.
So everybody's
it's like the people that get car sick except when they drive.
So the chin diaper is going to save you.
Well, saying it that way makes it sound like, you think that they're idiots, but think about it. People would sit there and talk about how, I get car sick really bad. Like my sister. My sister gets car sick unless she's driving or sitting in the front seat.
Yeah, my sister's like that too.
So, I'm just like, so basically what's different? You have a sense of control.
Okay. So you're saying it's psychological?
I think it is. You have a sense of control. Because if everyone faced the reality, you could die any second of any day, any time. We could walk outside and get hit by an errant engine from an airplane.
That's true.
Or a helicopter.
Probably pretty slim, but
hell, you could be pumping gas and some old guy have a weird moment and he runs you down.
Yeah.
Which happened to me.
Fucker.
Oh, I don't care.
You should care, man. That guy was a freaking crazy man.
Well, I don't anyway, but that's my point. Nobody's. Well, actually, there are people that are deathly afraid of it,
and everybody even makes it sound even more stupid. That it's like, okay, so we've been convinced that this is something we need to do to make us all feel comfortable. So it's just a device.
We've convinced ourselves.
No, because there's been a whole
we've
campaign.
Convinced ours. Yeah. So if 100 people, let's say you're the boss, right?
Okay.
Let's say you're the boss. You're the grand poobah.
Right.
If me and 99 of my cohorts say, you need to fucking do something about this thing over here that we're all scared of.
I'd be like, okay.
Well,
it wouldn't even be a...
Okay, so what's different about what's going on?
It's not different. It's just really annoying.
So why don't you just say it was annoying instead of sitting there saying, I don't believe that these people are so stupid that it's not stupid, dude.
It's just annoying, though.
It is annoying.
Because I already wear a mask 8 hours a day when I'm working.
So you're annoyed about having to follow the group.
I don't want to have to freaking wear a mask when I'm the rest of the time.
Okay, you have two choices. You have one choice, actually.
I have been avoiding going out in my neighborhood because
Don't be yelling at me because I'm
sorry.
sitting there doing because
right.
You're doing, you don't like the way the group is acting. You have one choice. You can just get away from the group.
Get away from the group?
Yeah.
You mean leave the group?
Yeah.
What about just not wear my mask when I'm outside?
Okay, fine, but the group has authority over you. Somebody who has color of authority over you is going to sit there and say you need to do X, Y, or Z.
Yeah.
So you don't want that to have happen. Your only choice is to go out and live somewhere where nobody is.
Well, I'm not a survivalist, so.
Survivalists aren't survivalists.
But I'm like, I couldn't survive for 5 minutes without the group.
Okay, so then there's your trade-off. It makes no sense to get mad about it.
Why not?
Because if you get mad about it, you're not doing anything.
How about just everybody not wear a mask?
Oh, so how about everybody just get smarter? You say
That's a great idea.
You say you have certain health issues, right?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah. It's annoying health issues about being able to. It's annoying health issues, right? Okay,
let's not get into them. All right.
Okay, so what if my answer was, well, get healthier?
That's pretty fucking annoying.
But that's essentially what you're telling people.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid.
Yeah.
What if you what if you're afraid of cobras, right?
Cobras?
Yeah, king cobras, the snakes.
Well, everybody's freaking afraid of king cobras.
Well, not everybody. And I put one right in this room over here. And you're sitting there about to, load up your shorts, and I'm going, don't be afraid.
Right.
And I'm saying that. Let's say I'm saying that because I've been bit by so many cobras that all of a sudden I have immunity, right? Mm-hmm. You can start to develop immunity to venom, right?
I suppose.
I think you can, but
you'd have to be introduced to like tiny little itsy bits of it.
Okay, fine. But on the Princess Bride theory, let's say that I can develop immunity, right?
All right.
But that's another thing that people get annoyed about or get angry about, right? Someone who happens not to share your fear, saying, "Get over it."
Yeah, and that's pretty annoying in itself.
I'm not telling anybody to get over it.
I've seen that.
I'm not telling anybody to get over it. I'm not telling anybody that their fear is justified or unjustified. I've got tons of fears myself.
But therein lies the conflict, though.
What?
Between the person who's literally
No. The conflict is. Oh yeah, no. My fears are justified. Fuck you. You need to do what I say. That's the conflict. The conflict isn't having the fears. The conflict is what you do once you have it.
But there's also the person on the other side, which you were talking about, the person who's not wearing the mask. He's like, "Fuck you. This thing's fake. Fuck you." So you don't know the two people saying "fuck you."
That person could just be inarticulate.
The person not wearing the mask?
The person wearing the mask and the person not wearing the mask, based on whatever ideas they have, are based on their own preconceived notions, right?
Right.
They have their preconditioned notions, and they're just grabbing for the idea that fits.
Yeah.
It's like we have clients that sit there and want to do a certain thing, and they ask different lawyers or different people the same question until they get the answer that they want.
Yeah.
That happens all the time. In fact, we've, to tell a war story on the way out, years ago, we had a client that did something that they got hammered on from a quasi official. And, it was basically that. It's like, oh yeah, we wanted to do X, and we asked around until we found out we could do X. I was like, what do you mean you asked around until you found out you could do X? I was like, well, people told us various things. One person said this, and we liked that answer, so we did it. I'm like, okay. But that's, that illustration is illustrative of how we act as people, right?
Yeah.
We want to do something, and we want confirmation that something is right, and we will ask around until someone.
Can I do this? No. Yes.
All right, I'm doing it. So there you have it. But yeah. So fear and whatever else it was.
Fear and bribery.
Thank you.